Today I'm going to show off a system that I designed to allow you to do some level of automatic crafting in vanilla Minecraft using just redstone. Now I have to put automatic crafting in quotations there because obviously there is no way to make automatic crafting in vanilla Minecraft. You can't do it. You can't have a system craft something into something else. This system is designed to send you the items you need to craft the recipe that you select. So this is loosely based off of a system that I saw in Tango Tech's episode where he created a rocket creation factory where the system would send him 9 stacks of gunpowder and 9 stacks of paper, and he could make rockets with them. It's that kind of a system, but I've tried to make it a little bit more modular. This is a lot bigger, and I would call this sort of a first draft, the first version of this. It does function. It's definitely slow, and there's a lot of improvements that could be made, but I'm starting to get distracted with other projects and ideas that I want to work on. So before I completely forget to release this video, I wanted to make this real quick to release what I have. And if you are interested in it, you could take this on your own to do improvements with it. So I built this up in my redstone testing world, and unfortunately I didn't really leave myself enough space to build this how I wanted to, and it's not very easy to move. Even using world edit, it uses a lot of rails to send the redstone signals so they could set them all in parallel to each other. And whenever I seem to move things with them in world edit, they all get connected improperly. So I can't really move it very well, unfortunately. So I apologize if things look a little bit confusing here. The system itself is really a lot simpler than it looks. So the core of the system is designed around these storage silo type things here. So this one is obviously my storage for oak planks. It has lights indicating the storage level, so this obviously has lots of storage for both of them, and this is where the items would come out. Now if we go down below here, you can see there's 2 double chests, and each of them has a hopper hooked up to it. And the way the system works is these setups right here, I can kind of pull this out. So this observer, that observer, that observer, and that observer, everything from those that way is a system set up to make it so that you can select different numbers of the same item with one redstone signal. So if you power that rail right there, that requests 1 oak plank. If we do this one, it requests 2, this one requests 3, and this one requests 4. And those all come out up here. So it's just they get pulled out of the hoppers under the chest into the dispensers. The dispensers then get powered and dispense their items. They go through some water tunnels or water elevators to be sent out right here. And so each item has its own storage system, so you can individually request individual numbers of individual items. Goodness. And now how do you request those items? Well, the short answer is with this button right here. There's a few other selections here. So this right here selects if you want single or a stack. Now, when I say a single versus a stack, that's the number of crafting recipes you want. So if you want, say, a single stick recipe, that's 2 oak planks, put them on top of each other, that makes 4 sticks. It's not a single stick, it's a single crafting recipe delivered. And this is this is a stack of that recipe. So I give you 2 stacks of oak planks to make 4 stacks of sticks. And then these are where you would select the different recipes. I don't have a ton put into the system right now because, like I said, it's a first version, so I would eventually make different versions of this, so I didn't want to put a whole bunch of different recipes in this just to replace them later. But effectively what you're doing here is, say you want sticks, you turn this lever on, that powers this black powering that light just as an indicator. That also turns off this torch, unlocking this hopper. So then anything that comes up through here would then travel through this hopper line, and then that gets pulled into these with the item filters. We'll get to this all in a minute here. Now with this system, you can only select 1 item. So you can select, say you want pistons, it's like just pistons. You couldn't select pistons and redstone torches and torches. Even if you want the same number of them, you've got to do them 1 at a time. And then how do you control the quantity? So say I want 2 stacks of pistons instead of just 1 stack of pistons. You would select pistons, you'd select stack, and then here you would select 2. The system could do up to 15. Just based on redstone limitations there, but that obviously could be changed or done differently if you want to do that differently. But this is the way that I set this up. So this would be for 2 stacks of pistons, and then you push this button and it sends that. I'm not going to do that right now. I'll show some examples later, but that's just to give a quick overview of how you select things here. So let's take a look at how some of this works. So the button that sends this signal is sent through a monostable circuit that's set to 4 ticks. And then that powers all of these pistons here. Each of these pistons has they're all sticky pistons with any solid block right here. And then any kind of storage system that sends out 2 signals here. I just use shulker boxes with 3 items in it. It sends out a signal strength of 2. You can do a lot of different ways. That's just what I picked. It doesn't have to be shulker boxes. That could even be chests with 3 shovels in it. It doesn't matter. So once that's pressed, that extends all these pistons down, allowing these comparators to read the signal out of there, which sends the signal on through. And then as you select the different pages here in the lectern, that changes the signal here, extending these pistons. So now 4 of them would send their signal through. Now this system here took me a bit to come up with a way to get this to work. We wanted to send the same signal to different locations based on how this lever was set. So if it's up and you're selecting single, then the signal goes through these comparators here, down here, and then it's pulled by those comparators, powering those blocks bottom there. If I can get down somewhere, there we go. Powering those orange concrete blocks right there, powering these droppers to drop whatever item you determine is your item filter for the single items. And then those pass along up this water elevator. If those pistons are extended, so you have that on, it's set to stack, then these comparators will send their signals through these target blocks, and that'll get read by these comparators here, sending the 2 signal strength of 2 out to these, powering these blocks for whichever ones have the signal come through it, and then you have the droppers dropping the item that you have selected for these stacks. All those items will then come up this water elevator here into these hoppers here. Now there's obviously a lot more different ways you could do this that are a lot faster than just having a hopper chain. That's just what I set up for this as the sort of first draft of this type of a system. So the system is quite slow right now. A lot of that is due to waiting for items to travel through all of these hoppers. So that is a big improvement that can be made to make the system significantly faster. But either way, that's how it's set up right now. So these would all come through, and then they would go through the first hopper that's selected. So all those items would come up through these hoppers right here. And right now we have it selected for sticks. So this block is unpowered, allowing the items to get pulled into this hopper here. And they would then get pulled into this right here, which is where you have your item filtering system. So then we get to this system here. And this system is actually where you are sort of starting to program the recipes themselves. Out here, there are different modules. So this is one recipe here. This is another recipe here. And here is a third recipe. I only have 3 set up right now. Obviously, you can do this with a lot more, and actually a lot more efficiently as well. Again, it's a first draft system. I may change this in the future. I just wanted to release it as it is right now. So the first thing that happens is this system right here is designed to, once this hopper has an item come through it, it will lock it until it's released by this system here. So it'll allow one item to pass and then lock it afterwards until the signal comes down to unlock this to allow another item to go through. So for example, if you send and say you want 6 stacks of an item, it would allow the first one to go through, then lock this and catch the other 5. It would then process the first item. Then once that's finished, it sends a signal back through here to unlock that real quick and then lock it again. So you can process the next one, and then each 6 of those would get processed individually. Next up, you have the item filtering systems for the individual item versus the stack. So let's say whichever one this is the single item, I believe. Whichever one this is, this gets powered. It's just a generic item filter system there. But then we also pulled the signal out into these blocks here to send it off in different directions. So this one goes through this block here and then off into this system here. What that does is that unlocks both of these hoppers, allowing this random item to just pass between the hoppers to start off a new signal here. And what that does is extends the piston for the side that has the items in it. So what we have is 2 droppers here that have the number of times this needs to be cycled to fulfill the requested item. And again, I'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute. But basically, so this is the single item. So this is for the item we're looking at right now is sticks, right? So this is requesting a single stick crafting recipe. So we have one item going back and forth. This is one of the things that could be changed here. This, if you need one item to get sent through, you don't need all this. This is all completely unnecessary right here. This is more for the stack side of things. But as an example, I'm just using this one here. So this dropper has one item in it, and you have a comparator here pulling the signal out in subtract mode there. It's powering this. So right now it's doing nothing because this piston is retracted. So once you get a signal through here, it switches these. So then this is powering this piston here, and then the signal can get sent through here to then dispense that item over to the other side. And then with this, it'll just do it once, and then it'll be done. Then you'll have a new signal coming out here. So you have a signal inverter. So right now this is powered comparator because there's one item in here. Once that's emptied, then that is unpowered. This becomes powered again, powering this monostable circuit, sending a 2-tick pulse along this line here, which just sends the next item in this hopper down through to be processed. And then as these droppers are pulsing to send however many items are in there, that signal then gets pulled down here and sent into another monostable circuit right here, powering the actual line that sends the signal down to whatever items need to be requested for that recipe. So in this example here, this is the stick line, and so that powers this line here. So it sends the signal along here to this observer right here, and then it sends it right to here, which yellow is the system we have for sticks, for oak planks, and that is the second line, so that's requesting 2 oak planks. So one pulse along that line requests 2 oak planks to be sent out. Now, the side for the stack of sticks works a little bit differently. So it sends the signal along here. Everything else works the same except for this right here. This has 32 items in it. And so that'll pulse 32 times, send the signal down here. And it does the same exact thing. It sends the signal along, but this time it sends it up to the 4 items for the stick. So it sends 4 oak planks, and it does it 32 times. To give you your 64, your 2 stacks of 64 for your full stack of crafting recipes. So let me show you a quick example of that here. For sake of speed, I'm going to leave this as single for the most part. So we'll do single sticks, and we'll request 4. We'll press this. It sends the signal along, and you'll see the items come up here, get pulled into this hopper here, and then it's going to send over here. There should be 3 items in here waiting to be processed. It goes quick because they're 1 items. And you can see it pulsing that line there. And then out here, we then get our items. So my inventory is empty right now. We get our items. We get our 8 oak planks there. And then we can go in here and make our 4 stacks or 4 crafting recipes of sticks. So that is the basics of how the system works. You get more complicated with more complicated recipes here, obviously. So let's say instead of sticks, we want torches. So let's take a look at torches real quick. The torch recipe comes out here. Again, the single side sends only 1 item. The stack side sends 16 items since you only need 1 stick and 1 coal. So you can request 16 along the 4 item line for sticks and coal, which is exactly what that does. So here's where the signal comes out from the stack side of the torches. So it sends it along here, goes up, and then it reads the signal right here, which goes to the 4th row in the blue, which is the sticks, and then it continues on from there right to here, which is the 4th row in the red, which is for the coal. So let's request 2 stacks of torches to be crafted. I'm going to speed this up a little bit just because it does take a little bit of time. But I'm not going to edit any footage here. We'll go ahead and request that. And there come our items. And those were white concrete this time because it's the stacks. All right, and now you can see this is pulsing for those 16 times. And then our items will start to come out here. And now we'll just let those accumulate here. There are a lot of different ways that you can do this system here. with as slow as this system is, it really should have something set up that picks them up, like a hopper minecart or something like that. So you're not leaving these items sitting on the ground. If you do go through and make these systems faster, then this should be fine, and you can just run across and pick up all the items that you need. Okay, so it sounds like it's done there. So we'll run by and pick up all of our items. Okay, sorry, I had actually some extra items in the system from when I was building it, so that didn't come out quite right. Let's try that again with torches set to stacks, and we'll do again 2 stacks of torches, send the signal. It's gonna work exactly the same way here. Okay, and now I will go ahead and speed this up, and hopefully this comes out correctly this time. Okay, so that should be everything. Let's try this again. Perfect. So we have our 2 stacks of recipes we can do. Go into your crafting table. I don't know why that recipe isn't showing up, but you would just obviously click the recipe here and it would craft it, but it's not showing up for some reason. So there we are. And then we have our 2 stacks of recipes of torches requested there. And it can do more complex things. Obviously, sticks and torches, it's very simple, but then it can do more complex things such as pistons. So let's just request, say, I want 8 pistons or something. Go ahead and hit that. And then I guess the way that I plan this out is that you would request something and then just go off and, you know, take care of your inventory, take care of some things, pick up some other items that you need, some building blocks or something like that. While the system processes, then once it's finished, you can come back and grab all your stuff and do your crafting, and you're on your way. Okay, there we are, my inventory, and let's see if we got enough for the 8 pistons we requested. That looks right to me. Oopsie. Eight pistons. Perfect. So basically the way that that works is it sends the signals down for each of the items that you need. So it sends a signal down to the 3 oak planks line for the 3 planks. It sends it down, no sticks, the 4 line for the cobblestone, 1 line for the redstone, and the 1 line for the iron ingot, and it just does that 8 times for the stack. Now with things like that with the 64, when you're requesting a stack of it, it does have to send it through 64 times, so that's another thing that could be improved as well. But it's again, it's a first draft copy of this, so it's a bit imperfect, but it does function. It does exactly what I wanted it to do, and I think it's pretty cool. And I'm really happy with it. So yeah, so this is a system I came up with. Obviously, like I keep saying, there's a lot of improvements that could be made here. This is just a first version of this. And yeah, that's what I got. If you guys, I'd be really curious to see what anyone else could do as far as speeding this up. And I'm definitely going to come back to this at some point. It's just, as I said, I keep getting distracted with other projects and ideas that I want to work on. So I wanted to take a break from working on this project, but I wanted to release this video before I took that break so that if for some reason I don't come back to this project, I have at least released this version here. And yeah, basically this could keep going and adding different types of resources that you need out here. This could keep going here, adding different recipes, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot of compacting that can be done out here. So yeah, there's a lot of improvements to be made. And if you do use the system and make those improvements, I'd be really curious to see that. So definitely let me know in the comments below if you do anything with this. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like below, please. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos kind of like this, be sure to subscribe. All right. See you guys in the next one. Bye.